I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feather, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's goody, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back again with a brand new video. And today, I'm going to talk about the 5 players on the Panthers who have the most pressure on them coming to the 2019 season. And for this video, this won't be in any particular order. I may do actual full, deeper breakdowns on the pressure each of these 5 players are under. But for right now, I'm just going to give you guys 5 names and all the reasons why these guys have the most pressure coming into this season. One thing before we get started in this, I've been getting a lot of comments and DMs and messages of people telling me that, you know, they're subscribed to the channel, but they don't always get notifications about when my videos come up, or they'll be scrolling through their YouTube, they won't see my videos, or they can go to their sub box and they don't always see my videos there. Well, YouTube just announced that they did some change to how subscriptions work, and they basically said that they're not going to always tell channel subscribers when that channel uploads a video, which is strange to me, but it's YouTube, they're always changing something. But basically, if you want to be always aware of when I make videos, and you want to always know when I have new content up, the best way to do it is to ring that bell on my channel so you're always notified of new content. YouTube's weird, man. I really can't explain it, but until it changes back to how it was before, back when it was a good subscription system, then that's how we're rocking right now. Anyway, the first name I'm going to bring up here is Donari Poe. Now, I think that a lot of Panthers fans had a big hatred. They had I don't know what it is. I guess a lot of people did not like Donari Poe last year, and I understand why. His stats weren't really all that great. 4 tackles for a loss, 3 hits on the quarterback, and only 1 sack. Look, I understand the numbers look horrible, especially, you know, 17 combined tackles in 16 games. That ain't good. But you have to remember, who was the defensive coordinator? Who was calling the plays last year? I think we can all agree that, look, coaching does play a role. Eric Washington maybe wasn't ready to be the DC of the team, and that the defense did look kind of bad. It was kind of unlikely that every single player on defense took a step back last year, at least for the first half of the season, and that's what happened. Everyone looked kind of out of it for the first half of the season. My biggest thing that I noticed is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of his 7-year career, the guy played nose tackle in a 3-4 defense. He went to Atlanta. They had him at defensive tackle. He didn't have the best kind of stats there either. They let him go after 1 year. And last year, we played a 4-3 defense. We played DT, and he had bad stats there. I mean, I wonder why he had bad stats in 2 different schemes that don't work for his position. I think that with the team going to more of a 3-4 look this upcoming season, that there will be no excuse for Donari Poe. Look, we don't have Eric Washington calling the plays anymore. He's going to be playing in his more natural position at nose tackle, and he can be a 0-tech kind of guy rather than a 1-tech. And we can actually see how he plays in the actual scheme that he's meant to be running. We can finally decide fairly whether or not he was a good or a bad pickup. I think we as fans jumped the gun a little bit with passing judgment on Donari Poe last year. Under the circumstances, it was honestly the worst case scenario for him. And I know he feels the pressure here, and rightfully so. We have some big expectations, especially for our front 7 this year, because we have the tools to be a really top front 7, and our secondary is going to need a little bit of help, so we're going to have to get some pressure. And I think with Donari Poe actually playing his real position as a nose tackle rather than a defensive tackle, which there is a big difference in the way that you're scheming around these guys, I think he is going to have a better year, and I think he's going to have a better year this year. The next guy I want to talk about here is a guy that I think we can all really understand and really agree on. Daryl Williams, the old right tackle, who is, I guess we're going to see him as a left guard this season. He is under a lot of pressure. Now, there's 2 different situations here that's going to happen. One, we all know that he's on a 1-year deal with the team, and I think there's half the fan base that thinks he's on a prove-it deal, where if he plays well, then he'll get a big deal, a big long extension, and get a lot of money. And maybe the other half is thinking that, you know, okay, well, he's going to be, you know, cheap talent that we can have right now. Whether he plays well, whether he plays poorly, he's really playing for a spot on another team who might be willing to, you know, give him a big bag, and we're not going to really extend him for the amount of money that he wants. Keep in mind, he did say, and I quote, Matt Khalil money. Can we really commit to that kind of contract? Probably not, especially with the injury there. He's not really injury prone, but I mean, I don't know if we want to put him at right tackle with the way that Taylor Moton's playing. No reason to put him at left tackle because you have Greg Little now, and we can just go out and get a guard. I mean, I don't see why we'd even sign him again to put him at left guard. I don't believe he's going to be on the team next year, but that does not mean there isn't pressure on him. There is a lot of pressure on him to play well wherever he is so other teams see him play well and he can get the money that he wants and the money that, he did earn after becoming an All-Pro. Kind of sucks he got injured, or it sucks a lot he got injured just last season and he couldn't play and really get the big bag he deserved. So I think that Daryl Williams is under a lot of pressure this year to do well from all fronts, no matter how you look at it. The third guy on our list is another guy who might be fighting for a roster spot for next year's team because it is actually not guaranteed that defensive end Mario Addison actually makes the team next year, and I'll explain why, but I'll get into his stats first. Look, we all know that Mario Addison has some pretty good years on the stat sheet. In 2017, he had 11 sacks. 2016, he had 9.5 sacks. I mean, this guy's been a pretty good staple on the defense for the last couple years, and just last year, we did convert $3.1 million of his salary to a bonus, so he restructured his contract, and with the restructure, the team added 3 more years to the back end of his contract, so 2020, 2021, and 2022 are still in his contract, but there is no guaranteed money, and the team could, like I said, they could void those at any point, so really, if he doesn't play well this year, 2020 might not really be in the cards for Mario Addison. I mean, this year, his cap hit is $10.66 million, but in 2020, the cap hit is only $625,000, so the team really could cut him, and I think it'll only be like 1.1 because of the prorated bonus of $500,000, so it'd be $1.1 million in dead cap, but the team could eat that if they really want to, and we do have a lot of guys who are coming up on the edge spot. We have a lot of guys, not just the starters, we have some guys who are backing up, who, if they play really well, F.A. Abado is one of the guys there, Marquise Haynes is the Joker kind of guy. With our scheme, when we run it, we might not always have a need for Mario Addison. But on the other hand, there's no guaranteed dollars, so I mean, maybe the team could just keep him for the cheap. There's a little bit of duality there that I think could go either way, but I honestly think that Mario Addison could be possibly on the chopping block this year if he does not have a good breakout season. And at the very least, I guess that he would be taking away snaps from guys who want to develop. And I do believe that with his contract basically being over after this season, he does come to this year with a lot of pressure. Moving on, the fourth guy on my list is Rashaan Gaulden. I think we can all agree that Rashaan Gaulden has a lot of pressure coming into this season. Look, first of all, he's a third-round pick that really didn't get too much playing time last year. I think I released my video on Rashaan Gaulden and whether he's being overlooked or not, where I mentioned he played in 14% of the snaps last year, only had 17 tackles on the season, played in 15 games. And GM Marty Herney talked about how they already knew that he was going to be a project since he was a nickel corner who got moved to safety. And the team still won't say with confidence that Rashaan Gaulden is their guy at free safety or that Rashaan Gaulden is their guy at slot corner, but they will say that he is competing for both of those roles. I'm not really sure how he's going to be splitting his time, learning and developing as a slot corner while also trying to try out for the free safety spot. How's he going to be splitting that? And how's that going to help the other guys who may be starting at one of those spots? I'm not really sure how he's going to be running that, especially when it comes down to preseason time. I would rather us have that down and actually, lock down before the preseason. I think the team will probably find a free safety to come in before then. But if he's at free safety or at slot corner, he will be under a lot of pressure. Marty went public and said the fan base has been forgetting about Rashaan Gaulden. My only response to that is give the fan base a reason to remember Rashaan Gaulden. Let the man play. Let the man start. Or at least show some kind of confidence and say that the job is his to lose and say that, look, he's on the top of the mountain right now. So while the fan base does understand that Rashaan Gaulden is a second-year player who didn't really get to play all that much last year, it feels like the front office is actually putting a little bit more pressure on him by saying all these things. And with the defense not being where it needed to be last year and the team not drafting a guy this year, it makes it seem like, we're saying all in that Rashaan Gaulden is the guy and is the answer and is the solution. And if he does get a starting role, whether it's a slot corner or at free safety, I can just see it happening where we start looking at him through a magnifying glass from the very first week. And if he plays well, that's going to be great. If he plays poorly, we'll be looking at him and the front office like, you said something, you said this. So I think that he's going to have some pretty big pressure, even though we do know the situation that we're going into with him. But that's how I feel about it. And the last guy with the most pressure on him coming into this 2019 season is the most obvious one. It's someone that I've done a video on talking about how much pressure he's under this year and how much pressure he's under after the draft. Just got magnified tenfold. I'm talking about our quarterback, QB1, Ace Boogie. Come on now. Cam Newton. Man, look, man. We all love Cam. I think we can all agree we love Cam, bro. This dude can do what he do. When he's not injured and in this Norv Turner scheme, we know that Cam can be, I'm going to say right now, he can be a top 5 quarterback and we can have a top 3 offense with the way that Norv is running it. I think we can have an elite offense with Cam healthy and with Cam like at his best. The biggest problem with Cam is that year to year and sometimes game to game, he can be a little bit inconsistent. Okay, he can be a lot inconsistent sometimes. But the biggest issue more recently has been his health and more specifically the health of his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder. Look, I know I said this wasn't going to be in any particular order, but we can all agree that if there's anyone in any kind of pressure situation right now, it's definitely Cam right now. We drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round, borderline 4th round. It was 2 picks before the 4th started. But Will Grier, in my opinion, was actually the 2nd best quarterback in this draft. And no matter how you split it, a team does not draft a quarterback that early for no reason. And Will Grier did not come here to be a career backup. Will Grier is not a career backup kind of guy. I think that Cam has to play well. This isn't even about pressure as in like Cam performing at the highest level. This is pressure to stay healthy. And that could be out of his control in certain ways, but that's going to be a huge factor in how we look at and how we evaluate Cam in this upcoming season. And look, if he can't stay healthy, if he can't go, if he can't produce, 2021 is his contract year, or that's when his contract runs out. We might be seeing Will Grier stepping up. I think Cam is under immense pressure to perform well again, to perform like he was during the first 7-8 games of this season, or this past season. And the bigger factor is, can he stay healthy? I believe in Cam 100%, but he is definitely under the most pressure of anyone on the team. And that goes without saying, honestly. He's easily under the most pressure of any Carolina Panther on this team. Now, you could talk about non-players. Coach Rivera might be on. Hey, he has only 2 years on his contract as well. He's under a lot of pressure as well. But this is about players, so I'll keep it at that. That's my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? What do you think about the 5 I mentioned? Donari Poe, Daryl Williams, Mario Addison, Rashaan Gaulden, and Cam. I think we all agree on Cam. But would you say it's someone else who has more pressure on them? Would you say that Coach Rivera has more pressure than all of them? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, go down to the pinned comment below and sign the petition there. It takes all of 10 seconds if you want to support the channel. And we can probably get the Panthers to partner with this channel. We can do even bigger concepts, even bigger kind of things on this channel. We can do a lot. I really appreciate it. And as always, you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.